Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. So it's been quite a while since I made a video for this channel at least, so I decided that I was going to make one today, and probably I'm going to try and make some during the next few days because as you can see I'm in the airport and I'm going to Otaru for the Japan Writer Conference. So it's like yearly conference in Japan where foreigners, so non-Japanese people, actually group together and have a conference, mostly with writers, authors, uh, people who actually work for the book industry, or people who are also like indie writer, that kind of thing. They're gathered somewhere in Japan and they have a 2-day conference over a weekend, and this time it's in Otaru, which is in Hokkaido. So I'm flying today to Hokkaido and I will stay so for the conference for the weekend, and then I'm going to have like 2 days, well, 1 day and a half of seeing around and tourism and checking out the place there. I've been there once but it was snowing, so now it's October, so it's going to be like not snowing fully. Basically that's it. So I'm going there because I'm actually like recently I started to do some writings, and one person who organized writings at the weekend actually told us that there is a conference. So it took me a while to figure out, am I gonna go? Should I go? And I decided that yeah, why not? So I'm going. It's a free conference, so basically anyone can just go and turn up at the university over there and go. But since it's not in Tokyo, I need to like book the hotel, book the plane ticket and stuff. But it's probably going to be interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward to meet other people, and I'm looking forward to some of the talk um, about like building stories and that kind of things, to see if I can improve what I'm actually doing. I have been writing quite a lot recently. I've got about 70,000 words more on one of my novels. It's not finished yet. Like I haven't been writing like crazy for a while, and then I got sick last weekend, and I haven't been writing since. But hopefully, I can start writing again pretty soon. And yeah, uh, I'm kind of. It's going to be fun. It's going to be something new, something I haven't done before. It's going to be fun. So anyway, guys, I'm just waiting. I have 2 hours to kill here, so I might talk to you again later while still at the airport if I find something else to say. But otherwise, I'm going to be reading while waiting. So I'll talk to you probably when I land. Hi guys, so it's actually the next morning. I was just so tired yesterday. The only thing I did when I arrived here was sleeping. So I'm in Otaru. It's 8-ish in the morning, just past 8. That's a train up there. Sorry about the noise. See, uh, that's, that's a train up there. So, um, actually, I'm on my way now to the conference, and it's Saturday morning. And Otaru is a small town, and it really looks like a ghost town. There is nobody around. It's like super quiet except for the train. And I'm just walking around, looking around a little bit. So I'm going to the University of Commerce because that's where the conference is at, but I don't know exactly where in the University of Commerce the conference is at. So I just need to go there and check around, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of people there. So yeah, um, it's kind of cold here, like way colder than in Tokyo. So last night when I arrived, it was rainy and super windy, and I was freezing. So I didn't record, and it was night already because my plane was 1 hour delayed. So nothing really interesting to see because it was like just dark everywhere. And yeah, so um, so this is just like very small Japanese town. You have like a lot of different type of building. It reminds me a lot of Sendai, especially last night when I was freezing and cold in the dark. I really felt like, oh, that's just like Sendai. So yeah, so hopefully I'm going to find the university soon, and I'll show that to you too. And I'll talk to you about the conference as it goes. There is a 3 talk this morning, so it's 1 hour talk from 9 to 12. Then we have 1 hour break for lunch, and then we have 4 talks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the NaNoWriMo meet and greet, which I don't know what it's going to be. It's just half an hour, but I'm kind of looking forward to that because I'm doing NaNoWriMo every year, and I'm supposed to do it this year too. So I already have like a writing plan for NaNoWriMo with a person who actually take care of that for Yokohama and Tokyo, so I might go to Yokohama for that too. So anyway, let me try to find a university and I'll talk to you later. Guys, I made it to the university and I'm at the right place. There was an advertisement there for the conference, and it's probably right there where the people are going. So I'm out of breath as usual. It was like half an hour and it was going up, 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 up. According to my Fitbit, it's like 55 flights of stairs, but it's not catch up yet, so maybe more. Anyway, so just taking my breath back and I'm gonna go in. So here is the program. So I'm in room 2 and the first talk is about Why Writer Writes by Wendy Jones Nakanishi. And so basically this is the room. It's kind of nice and there is like people, so I already found like people I know, and I have the name tag. And yeah, basically that's it. So we are just waiting for the talk to start. It should be in a few minutes. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people, and yeah, little groups, like tables for little groups. So normally it should be okay. So I'll let you know how it goes. Guys, I'm on the way back from the conference and I'm going to have like a little chat with you about like everything that happened. So I'm gonna go through all the sessions I've been to and tell you what happened, show you the material, because some of them they give you material and there was a lot of workshop, so I try to explain like what we've done. I'll do that when I arrived at the hotel because it's freezing here. I have like 3 layers of clothes and I'm still cold. I've been cold all day. So yeah, next time I'll get warmer clothes even if it's fall. So anyway, so I'm almost at the hotel. It's just like straight ahead, so it shouldn't take too long. But I wanted to show you a little bit of Otaru during the night too, because last night I couldn't do that. So here you go. So basically this is like the one street where my hostel is. I'm using Airbnb stuff and it's pretty nice. It's like a dormitory style of thing, and that's the street I went through this morning. It was completely dead this morning, but now you have like more people outside. Still not that many. It's like so strange compared to Tokyo, really, because almost nobody. Anyway, it's not really in the center like I was. Like the center is a few streets over there. So basically, it's a little bit away. Like the restaurants are over there on the other side, and the like main station, the main train station is also in that direction over there, and the other one is over there. So kind of away a little bit, but it's not too bad either. So that's it for now. I'm gonna go to the hotel and then I'm going to have like a recap of everything that happened today. So guys, I'm back at the hostel. I'm in my little nest here. You can see my friends. And so that's my bed for tonight, and I'm just like sitting here. And so I'm going to talk to you about the talks we had. So there was 3 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and then we had an NaNoWriMo meeting. And I have my pocket here, clear files that I got from the Idol last time. So if you want to know more about that, go to my other channel. But here we're talking about writing. So I have all the things inside. So first, let me get that all out. So this is actually the list that I printed from their website. So they have like, the website is not really comprehensive, and it's like they kind of have trouble with downloading PDF there. So I couldn't even like get the PDF out. So what I did was I took the list on the screen and created my own PDF for it and printed it. So here are like the list of talks. So you can see there is like 3 different rooms, and I circled the one I've been to. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to tell that to you, like how I went, like which one I went to. So first, when you arrive, I also printed all the Japan writer conference things, so everything that people are going to say. So I studied that to know where I wanted to go today. So when you arrive, they actually give you a program with which is basically the same thing that I got on the website. Just it only has the name of the people instead of the name of the talk, and it tells you in which room is what. So it's actually the same as on the online, so there was no problem to actually find what I wanted to see. And they tell you also where to see lunch, but I already told you that. So the first talk I went to was, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I cannot actually see stuff from far away. Like just down there on the bed where I'm sitting on, I cannot see anything. So I'm going to have to get that really close to my face to be able to see, sort of. So the first talk I went to, the one that I showed you a little bit before when I just arrived at the university, basically is called Why Writers Write, and it's a lecture with a Q&A. So this one was actually kind of funny because we were having like, so first we had like some statistics about a writer, why a writer writes. So you can see the cheese. So it actually tells you like all the reason why writer write from sort of survey. So basically 15% of writers write as a way to express themselves, which kind of makes sense. And you have a little description of that. So 13% of writers write because they feel they have to, 13% because they want to help others, 11% because they want to educate, 8% write because of their imagination, 6% write to influence, that kind of thing. And you have like a lot of 2% of writer write because of blah 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 blah. And we had like it was kind of an interactive session because we had to talk with our neighbor and decide what basically if we could come up with reason why we're right that we all agree about, and that kind of thing. So and then we had like some on the writing little thing. We didn't actually read that, but it's kind of teaching you how to write. So I don't know if you know the On Writing by Stephen King. It's like a lot of those sort of ideas, and it has quotes from different authors and stuff. So it's pretty neat. So I'm gonna keep that and read later. And then we had the third part, which is like another sort of thing with quotation, and it's actually it's a lot more quotation actually from different writers, why they think writer writes, why they write, and that kind of thing. So it's all about why the writer write. Does it answer the question? Not really. It's just like a statistic. So if you're a writer and you're writing, you probably have your own reason. I don't think there is like a universal reason why. writer are actually writing, but we were like discussing in group, and I actually say that according to quantum theory, every work of fiction is actually a parallel universe. So basically, the writer is a vessel to either. So there is two different things that can actually be showing that off. So first, either the writer is a god who create that universe by himself by writing the work of fiction, or the writer is actually just a vessel. So the other parallel universe is actually telling the writer the story of what's happening in that universe, and the writer has to communicate it to the rest of the world, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it's true, it's just a theory, right? Part of quantum physics, but like the metaphysics of quantum theory. But it's still kind of cool. So, anyway, so that was the first presentation. The second presentation went to was authentic dialogue workshop. So first we had all the kind of things about dialogue. I think I put them all in the right order. So we had this presentation here. So we have an introduction that lasted 2 minutes, and then we had like dialogue tags. So basically it explained that we should use said all the time, like if you are using a tag, because like using any other words means that you actually don't, like that the dialogue is not powerful enough. So that was like a shut up, he explained. Shut up is not an explanation, so explain is badly used there. Or fuck off, he yelled coarsely, which is even worse because like if he said fuck off, he's probably yelling. Like it's like stuff you should be able to see in context. And if you are actually using tag words to explain what's in your dialogue, you basically don't do the right dialogue very well. So you better change your dialogue. So that kind of thing. And then we had a part about the punctuation on the tag, like when to use dots and question mark and commas and capitalize the words after and before. So all that kind of thing. And then we had like some example of dialogues. So the guy was really good, and he did the voices when he speak and read dialogue, and it was like super cool. And yeah, so that was really nice. Like I don't feel like my dialogue are that weak either. And then we had this practice. So for this practice, basically, we had to take like, so you read, like we had like part of dialogue here. So some of the part, like the first part, is called the resource pack, and some of the parts the guy actually read it, and some of the part, like the second part, was a workshop, and we had to take one of the dialogue only part and rewrite about 6 lines of the dialogue with different voices. So basically you take the characters and you change who the characters are and what they're supposed to look like in real life, and you actually create another dialogue for that. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, they actually just created a dialogue between two characters, and my partner and me, we took it like really literally, and we rewrote the 6 line of dialogue in the voice of different character, which was extremely hard because it's only 6, like it's a very long dialogue and you take only 6 lines, so you don't actually know what you're really talking about. So we had to change the dialogue on this 6 line to make sure we had the voice of the different characters we were impersonating them, and we had to make sure that it was also understandable in a way. And it was really hard. And then we had to go in front of the class to tell them the dialogue. And our dialogue wasn't bad, but it wasn't like other people because they just write a dialogue from scratch with a very strong voice. It was super good, but ours was a little bit different in a way because we actually just rewrite this thing, and it was actually really hard to rewrite. And then I decided to go to the Using Poetry in Science and Fantasy workshop, and I think I should have skipped that one and go to another one, but anyway, I went to that one. What I'm saying I should have gone to somewhere else is because I'm not a poet person. Like, I don't write poetry, I don't read poetry, I don't care so much about poetry really, and I don't like. I studied poetry like everybody else at school, but it was in French, and the metric is different. So when I arrived in English, it's just I can understand it. Like, somehow I know the meaning of the words, and I know like some of it. It's okay, I can understand, but like a lot of stuff, if it has references to other things, it's more difficult. Like, because in the English you don't always have references to Latin or Homeric thing, but other stuff too. And sometimes it's hard for me to go like into like medieval poetry or that kind of thing in English. So that works like, so basically we had like, he gave us 3 ways to be able to convincingly include poetry in your um, science fee or like fantasy novel. And the first was to actually fake it. So you take poetry and you you basically write from scratch poetry by yourself, but you make it like something funny, something that's not good, and you give a reason for that. Like, for example, it's a new nation and they are just trying to create this from scratch, and they're not good enough at using the language yet, or the kind of thing. You can also try and make stuff funny, or you can use a existing poem and change a few lines or change a few words to make it your own. So then we had a workshop where we actually had to do that, and for me it was like a catastrophe. I had no idea what to write. Like, I couldn't come up with anything at all. And he said, like, he gave us like 4 different poems that we could use, and he said the first 2 were super hard, and the next 2 were supposed to be easy, and even the easy one I couldn't come up with anything. Like, I think also because I think I'm not good at poetry, when I try it, my mind sort of blank, like, what the hell am I doing, kind of thing. So that wasn't really successful for me. Like, it's kind of nice to know how to do it if I have to do it, but then I would have to really like put my mind to it, and like the 10-minute workshop was really not enough. So that's what happened during the sessions of the morning. So 3 of that, then we had lunch, and then we went to like 4 more. So the next one I went to is called Fairy Tale in the City, and it's a writing workshop. And basically, when I read it, I felt like I imagined it to be something completely different. So what I was aiming for when I went there was to actually understand how to have like a sort of urban fantasy with including of fairy tale in it. So that's what I was like hoping for, like having like a write a novel which actually had like all of the elements of the fairy tale, as a, not necessarily as a retelling, but sort of being able to actually create magic in an urban environment. And it was not about that at all. The entire workshop was more about creating your own fairy tale, which I don't think I would have a problem to actually do that. And it was giving us clue, and like we had little exercise. So she was basically, first she had a long introduction about fairy tale and different fairy tales and the history of fairy tale and the retelling and how they were like changed through the age for different purpose and different background and different set of people, because like all fairy tale are not for children and that kind of thing. and how it used to be like really dark and like all the different type of fairy tale you can have. And then we had like creating the setting. So she explained how the setting is, and the exercise was think about the most boring place and write it down, a description of it, the very most boring place with no magic. And it was really hard for me, like not really hard to come up with something kind of tasteless, but it was like kind of like I can see magic everywhere. Like I could think, like I think a lot of things are interesting even when they're boring for other people. So for me, it was kind of difficult to find like the most boring place, and I couldn't come my like wrap my mind around it. Like, what is it supposed to be boring? So I just wrote a little thing. It was like I thought about the kitchen, like very ordered and where people only make recipe from a cookbook, basically. So that was my thing about it. And then so then she explained about the character. You have a protagonist, you have the villain, you have the helping person, and then we had to come up with that, like all those type of people. So you had to write that down. So I put that down, and then the third part was to actually link all of that together. But we didn't have time to finish, so we were supposed to write like 300 words to finish that, but we didn't have time for that. So it's not that it was bad, but it didn't help me too much in anything, I guess, because um, I wasn't really like I was really looking forward to urban fantasy style of thing. So I'm gonna show you here is what I actually wrote. Like the boring setting and the protagonist and the thing. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but yeah, that was the and this is like the exercise and what we did. So it was not bad. It was like it was different from what I was expecting, and not really what I wanted to do, but it was not bad. And then next thing was exploring mindful writing practice workshop. And basically that one was not extremely about writing, that it was more about mindfulness, and we haven't had a meditation in between in the middle. So it was actually talking about the anxiety of writers on a writer blog, and what kind of thought like the inner editor or the inner critic, that kind of thought like that writer have, and how to overcome it, basically using mindfulness. So it wasn't like, I think this can be applied to a lot of other area. It has like about anxieties that you can have in different area of your life, not only with writing. And we have this meditation where we like put our attention to different part of our body from toes to head. And after that we had this stream of consciousness style of reading. It's a little bit like morning pages, but it was not in the morning, it was just after that. And we were supposed to get a prompt for that, but we didn't get a prompt, so I just wrote like, I'm supposed to be writing something, but I don't know what to write, style of thing. And it was like 5 minute writing without stopping, so I just like keep going, and everybody did that, and it was kind of cool. But like I think because I have so much writing going on in my life at the moment, so I do the morning page, and I do some journaling in the evening, like what happened today, and I also do the normal writing, so I write a lot at the moment. So for me, it's like, yeah, no matter whatever you tell me to write about for 5 minutes, I'm gonna do it, and then just like keep going, and don't stop. And like it doesn't matter, like how many words do you want? Okay, right, no problem, I can get that style. So, and I think I cannot find the other sheets for the rest of the workshop, so I'm gonna like go through, like keep going. So anyway, so that was talk number 2 of the afternoon, and then we had number 3, and that was about what fan fiction taught me about writing. And so basically, I know nothing about fanfiction. I never wrote fanfiction. I don't really like reading fanfiction. I'm not a fan of anything technically, so I don't see the point of fanfiction for me. It's like, yeah, I like a lot of character, I like a lot of things, but I would rather write my own stuff. But as a writing exercise, like we had a lot of, she discussed a lot of things about fanfiction as a writing exercise, as a tool to create other things, as a style and genre itself, and all the different things you can get from it. And it was very, very interesting, and probably one of the most interesting workshop of the day, basically. Like, she was really good at talking, and she was like explaining things very well, and she was talking about all those, like she was talking about fan fiction without ever telling us fan fiction of what or anything like that. She was like talking about like crossover, when you would take different people from different universe and put them together in a room, and that kind of thing. And it was really, really cool. So that was one of the best. And we had, at the end, of course, we had a workshop, and we had to pick two random fiction character and write a dialogue between them. And I ended up with Scarlett O'Hara and Doctor Who, and I put them in a volcano, and of course Doctor Who was explaining what is a volcano, what's going on, why it's going to erupt, and the kind of thing, and how to get out of there. And Scarlett O'Hara was kind of like trying to boss him around, not willing to do anything that he wanted, and not understanding why the ground was so hot because she never saw a volcano before. So that's what I came up with, and it was really interesting. It was kind of, trying new things, and yeah, maybe I'm gonna have a look at science fiction, at fan fiction sometime if I don't know what to write or if I'm stuck or something. It can be cool. I could have like ideas, and also like it's can be a good way to get like readers if you actually write stories that they actually like already. You can get people who like that universe to follow you maybe. So yeah, all in all, that can be a good idea. And then the last talk was a little bit tiring. The last talk was the death of genre, trend in publishing, lecture with Q&A. So basically, this was kind of like a monologue from a guy who actually explained what are genres, how they are used in publishing, how they work for different companies and different like publishing or indie publishing or that kind of thing. What's the trap of falling into writing only one genre? What's the trap if you want to write several genres? And all that kind of thing. And how genre should actually sort of be banned, like having write a good book instead of having to write a book that is falling into one genre. So yeah, the thing is, like, I think it was a little bit long for me. Maybe it was because it was the end of the day, and I already had like 6 talk before that. But I started to get a bit tired around the middle, and I didn't quite follow so much like the rest of it. It was like, yeah, starting to get a little bit tiring in the end. And I don't write in a genre. Basically, I write my story, and it has like some fantasy because you have different type of creature. It has like portals to different worlds, so that sort of fall into fantasy or science fiction. It has love stories. It has mythological element or historical element. It has fairies and magic, so it can be also a little part of fairy tales. And sometimes there is like big fights, so it can be an action book. So basically, what I'm writing is kind of epic, I guess, in a sense, but it's more like a cross genre, and it's all over the series. And I'm not even sure the series is kind of uniform about the genre, because the ones that I like, sometimes I write books which have a lot more fantasy elements than others, and some have more science fiction elements, and I even have like something with steampunk elements. So even in one series, they're not particularly. They fall into the global idea of the story itself, but I don't think it has any genre. But I know that some writer friend of mine, they just write for the genre. They just take all the elements that actually belong to maybe romance, and they're going to write romance only. Or they take all the elements that fall into the fantasy young adult version of it, and they just write that down. And for me, I find it very, very difficult to con- contain myself into just one element of fiction. And I think it's easier if you actually plot your book to do that kind of thing, but I don't plot my book so much. My book are more based on the reaction of characters to element of surprise or elements that appear in their world and events. So of course it has a plot and it has a main line that go all the way through the series, and every book has its particular plot line or several, because some are like multi point of view. So yeah, um, I think it was kind of interesting in a way that you actually like it actually discussed that what I'm doing is not wrong. Basically, to not follow the trend of just writing for one genre in particular, but otherwise, not extremely helpful. Like it didn't actually teach you anything so much as to say where genre is still there, but it's dying because writers are trying to write more into several directions. And basically, that was like the conclusion of it. So yeah, so that was the last talk, and after that we had the NaNoWriMo meeting of Sapporo. So the Tokyo liaison of NaNoWriMo and the Sapporo liaison of NaNoWriMo were actually there and giving stuff like nano stuff and explaining NaNoWriMo to people who never actually did it before, what NaNoWriMo is, what they organize, like event they organize, and that kind of thing. And then we have like to talk about like to each other about what are you writing, what are you gonna do NaNoWriMo, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, it was like 30 minutes and it was kind of cool. It was really nice. And just like talking to other people, making friends, and finding people who actually write stuff, and talking about what you're writing and everything like that. So yeah, I had a good day. The first day of the conference, it's a 2 day conference, so I'm going back tomorrow. But the first day was really nice. And now I'm a little bit tired, as you can see. I'm looking like a panda because I have been like sleeping really badly lately. So my eyes are like panda. I'm black and white like a panda. Anyway, so I'm going to say goodnight to you, or have a good day wherever you are when you're watching this video. And talk to you next time. Have fun whatever you do, and write if you want to write, and read if you want to read. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Leave me comments in the comment section below, and give me a thumb up. And don't forget to click the bell to get notification for the channel when I put a new video, which is not really. I'm gonna try like to make it more often. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys, and bye.